don't smoke no Philly. Dripping sauce like I'm chilly. Set that milk came to the floor when it's chilly. I got big booty bras at the telly. And end up from the store who was ready. I can't fuck with none of y'all niggas, y'all disgust me. When you with your maggot ass friends, don't discuss me. Effing with a standing clip, I hope don't try to rush me. I hear him saying such and such a nigga ain't gon' touch me. Big body bench, remember I used to be dusty. Now I want my money, y'all hunters in a rush, please. I was selling weed when they came out with white tee. Now I put a whole half a ticket on my white tee. Whole hood popping, other niggas, they don't like me. Made her eat it up, she told her friend he gon' wipe me. All my niggas thoroughbreds, on foot with cross street. Free all of the bros down the road and on right street. Hit that fast thing speeding through the city. Panoramic brain in my dad's digit. Motherfucker fame, all my niggas lit it. Neighbor to the face, I don't smoke no Philly. Dripping sauce like I'm chilly. Set that milk came to the floor when it's chilly. I got big booty bras at the telly. And end up from the store who was ready. Put some fine bitches in my jellies. Two new glass tinted these spaghettis. Ain't gon' bash you bitches, I ain't petty. Just know we fucking, we ain't going steady. I don't wanna sleep, I need more eddies. I ain't had no kid, but I'm a daddy. Let her shake her ass like it's magic. 20s in my pocket, look like cabbage. Carrots everywhere, I'm a rabbit. Hey, shorty low, what was that name? You was told to go, keep that cannon. I'm a fucking gold, I can't panic. Hit that fast thing, speeding through the city. Panoramic brain in my dad's digit. Motherfucker fame, all my niggas lit it. Never to the face, I don't smoke no Philly. Dripping sauce like I'm chilly. Set that milk came to the floor when it's chilly. I got big booty bras at the telly. And end up from the store who was ready. Money conversations, check my phone. Sway, how about Dolce Gabbana, Chanel?
Today, we're going to talk about the NFL draft, craft up winners in the early MLB games, and let's cash another squad ride. This is Behind the Lines.
I feel like we get a Corbin Carroll, Nugenheimer off of something off speed. Can't walk him. Can't get him on the base pass. And I think you got to pitch to him. And I don't know if it's going to end well.
That guy sucks, Jose Ferrer. Sure, he can throw 100 miles an hour. He has no idea where it's going.
There's
Zero
no way
clue.
you gassing up Ferrer, dude.
Zero clue where it's going. That guy, he might as well be pitching with a blindfold on.
And then Ty Jerome, this is where I will gladly take him to be pork. This is his perfect opportunity to shine, and he's been really good at taking these opportunities. So now that he has every single opportunity in the world, where he's going to be pretty much the only starter in the lineup for a majority of the game against this Pacers defense, gladly I will get involved.
Arrest Zach Campbell. Put him behind steel bars. Get this guy out of here. He is a f***ing loser, a scum, a lowlife who makes people's lives around him significantly worse to benefit his. He's a me guy, the textbook definition of a me guy. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Thursday, episode 684 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by our two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking on Bookit, today could be a great day to start. Start tracking your bets over there on Bookit today. I promise once you do, you will enjoy it. You will keep using that app. Go check out Bookit Sports, the best bet tracking app out there by far on the App Store or Google Play. Jovan, we did it again. Let's go ahead and get that goddamn recap up and moving. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. Great call on some runs up there in Fenway. My God, the Mariners carried the weight.
Certainly.
She was free. Jovan, any comments, any thoughts? Great work.
I mean, that should have been a lot easier than it ended up being in the end, at least to get over the push, because Mariners had bases loaded, didn't score early on. There were a million base runners, but got there, so can't complain.
I'm seeing a chat that maybe Zach Campbell made an appearance last night.
No way.
People are talking. I hope that's not true, LMNG. I hope you're just messing around. And I hope it wasn't actually him getting involved in that Red Sox game. If it was, please let us know. Okay? W follows coming in on the Twitch as well. We got Small Town Guy coming in, dropping a follow. We got Matty O coming in, dropping a follow as well. W's, we appreciate you guys. We are so close to 50K followers on Twitch. We are so close. We're like 300 followers away. So I'll tell you guys what I told you at the beginning of the week. If you don't mind, drop the Twitch link in your gambling group chats. Send it to your buddies. Tell them the squad rides hit, knock on wood, 5 straight times. All right, tell them to lock in. We're going to craft up some winners for tonight. We're going to craft up some winners on the diamond for these early MLB games. We'll take a peep at the NBA and NHL slates in the playoffs as well. And looks like we got, looks like we got the draft tonight as well that we're going to talk about, Jovan. And I'm excited to talk about the Commanders and who they potentially take with that 29th overall pick. And I have no clue who they're going to pick with that selection. Could be anybody. Could be Tootin. Could be anybody. Who knows? Right? All jokes aside, I have no clue who my squad's going to take. And I want to see who Jovan thinks his squad's going to take. I want to see who Goots thinks the Ravens are going to take late in the first round as well, because we cannot forget about it. It is still Goots week. It is still Goots week.
Okay? Don't forget.
Sure. All right, let's keep moving to Graven. Let's recap the Sharp report. See how we did overall. Wow. Pretty beat. That game got pushed, or that game got rained out. And then we got a doubleheader today, and they switched up the pitching sitch, which I'm pretty blown about. But not going to complain about no losers on the cards. Jovan, good day. Good day, but you carried the weight on what mattered most, and that was the squad rides coming through with some runs in Fenway, that over in college baseball. My goodness, free as ma. And I blame Gunnar Henderson.
Really blame
Gunnar Henderson. I do not blame the coach. I do not blame the owner. I blame Gunnar.
Bad.
If you can't get 2 total bases against Trevor Williams,
Or one, because his single was off of, I don't even know who was in the game at that point.
Well, when you got the umpire, CV Butner, being like, all right, let me call the check swings, because I'm not focusing on the balls or strikes. I'm also focusing on the check swings. Yes, Shirley. Go down to third base, freaking umpire. What are you doing? You didn't swing.
Yeah, that was a Misha call.
Terrible call.
Really bad call.
Awful call.
Really bad call. But also
dog
really
shit call,
bad
but
performance
dog
from the
shit
O's
player.
offense. Well, not a dog shit player. Maybe dog shit team.
No, dog shit.
Not a dog shit player, though.
Dog shit player. Dog shit
I've
team.
been the one person who's been shitting on this team more than anybody. So there's no excuses. It's just a bad call.
Enough excuses, Goots. I've heard enough of them.
Just a bad
Enough. Oh, man. Yeah, Goots has not been an excuse guy. That's why that's funny. He's been calling a spade of spades. But look, a lot of ball left. If your team is stinking it up right now, it doesn't even matter. It couldn't matter less. It's like when Mikey Over talks about the first quarters or first halves not mattering. They don't, especially in the NBA. They might matter a little bit in college. They don't matter in the NBA.
I don't know if we can give Mikey those after last night. He's bitching on feed at the Heat at halftime. Don't even know if we can give him that today.
That was a good reminder, I guess, for Mikey. I'm sure he won't make that same mistake tonight, right? Could be a W reminder. Rising says he can hear the pain in Goots' voice. Yeah, I could too, and I did not like it. I did not like it, and we're not going to talk about the O's anymore, okay? What I will talk about, though, is getting this really cool James Wood bobblehead. Let's fucking go, chats.
There it is.
Yes.
In all of its glory.
Yes. This thing is a monster, bro. It's like 2 bobbleheads in one. How about it? Also, how cheap of an owner do you have to be to do a 10K bobblehead giveaway? Why don't you do a 25K bobblehead giveaway like every other team? Shit, maybe even 30K. Why can't you just be a normal squad and just give people bobbleheads? Why do you got to make them show up super fucking early, fighting through the lines to get through and get a goddamn bobblehead? Why do we got to be broke? Can we just give the bobbles away to the people who want them? What are we doing? 2 10K bobblehead split might be the craziest move of all time.
Yeah, that's weird.
I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of that. I've never seen that. A double bobblehead night to split it up to get people to get there early and spend more money at the park is a very broke boy move from our owner. Extremely broke boy. You know, it'd be a good look if you gave everybody who walked in that building a bobblehead. That'd be a flex from the owner, right? That'd be a flex.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But you know what? We take it. Rumor has it Krabs is tossing around 10-year-olds to get the bobble. No, honestly, we were okay yesterday. Probably because the Caps game was on. So there were not as many people at the game yesterday. Most normal people were watching the Caps playoff game. And they were not going to get a bobblehead like a child at the Nats game. But I digress. Bobblehead acquired, Aries. That's all that matters, brother. We got Planet Hearts coming in, dropping a follow. Planet Hearts 444. We got Unknown GC coming in, dropping a follow, helping us get to 50K followers. We are so close. Appreciate all you guys dropping follows. Did Zach Hampel get a bobblehead? I did not see him there. Cannot confirm or deny. But I can usually tell or I can feel it in the air. If Zach Hampel's there ruining the day, did not feel like a Hampel day there at the park.
Certainly did not feel like it. You have like Hampel senses.
There's just like a vibe in the park. I don't know, like a dark cloud that hovers over it. You can just feel it when he arrives. All of a sudden, you see a little bald, shiny white head running around the outfield, like he's playing left field. Oh no, he's not playing left, Jovan. He's actually just there with the glove on, running around like he's on the team.
He also wears a shirt with his name on it. So,
just in case you didn't know, it was him, another 130 pounds, 40-year-old man who runs around and wears MLB logos and shirts with his name on it, and he reaches over and grabs a ball, right in front of a kid, in front of a child. Really? I don't know how that guy sleeps at night. What a freak. And yes, Scott MQ, that's no joke. That's no joke. I've seen Hampel at Nats Park a time or two. He's typically not welcome around those parts, though. I don't know if he's gotten bullied there or what, but he doesn't come to Nats Park very often. He'd rather go to Camden, which is interesting. You'd think he'd get bullied there, too. He'd rather go to Camden. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. We got early games starting up on the diamond that I want to talk about here before we get to the draft. And we did the recaps already. Okay, so W Sharp Report recap, W Squad Ride. I don't want to let this get swept. I don't want to gas it up too much because it should not have taken us this long to get back here. But I do want to give a small round of applause. We are above 500 for the year on the squad rides, and it was not an easy journey. Okay, we really dug ourselves a hole earlier this year, Jovan. I don't know what the hell happened, but we're back. Knock on wood. Let's keep moving and grooving. Let's keep cashing squad rides, and let's keep this streak alive. Plain and simple. All right, let's cash a 6th in a row tonight.
Sure.
All right, any comments from Jovan here? Any speeches?
Speech. I mean, definitely feels a lot better than the stretch in January in CBB.
Sure.
We couldn't find any green and the winner in that poll. So glad baseball is back. Let's keep hitting them.
Sure. DeAndre is asking about the average attendance for Nats games. I mean, during the week, it's, lucky to get 10K people, unless they're doing crazy bobbleheads and they're skimping on the bobble numbers, right? Then you start getting more people, I guess. No wonder why they're doing it. On the weekends in the summer, it can sell out. So weekends are sold out over the summer, and, during the week, it's nobody there. So it varies a lot. But it's an underrated ballpark. Really good food there as well. All right, why don't we hop in and talk about these early MLB games? Okay, we've got 3 games starting up in the next 2-ish hours. Why don't we talk about those ones first? And one of those involves a game that we had the squad ride in last night, so it should be familiar squads. But we'll start with the White Sox and the Twins here, Jovan. Want to get your thoughts, a pulse check on Smith versus Paddock, and a total still, you hear those 2 names, those 2 starting pitchers, and Smith's been pretty good so far, but Paddock certainly has not been overall, although he's had a couple decent starts lately. The total in this game's dropping from 8.5 to 8, and I'm even seeing some 7.5s aloof. Are we going to get a no fun, not many runs type early game here on the diamonds? And maybe is there some weather that's factoring into why this total's dropping?
Yeah, there definitely is some weather. I think it's a gross game. I don't know if it is like a delay or a possibility right now, but I saw that was potentially in the cards when looking through the games earlier this morning. Chris Paddock's on the mound. I just don't have any confidence in the Twins, to be honest with you. Okay. I know it's the White Sox. I know there's a lot of question marks in that lineup right now, not just because of the White Sox, because they have a lot of moving pieces in there and a lot of new faces, a lot of faces returning. I don't know if I can right now with Chris Paddock. I have no confidence.
Yeah. I kind of like the under with the total dropping, but we might not have any value left. Down to 7.5. It's got to be weather related if this game even gets played on time. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if the White Sox end up pulling this one out as well. That's a team that has not won many games on the road so far this season. They've actually only won 1 game on the road this season, to be exact. I would not be surprised if we see this team maybe pull off an upset or cover that plus 1.5. Am I sprinting to the books to lock it in? No, but I certainly wouldn't be locking in the Twins minus 1.5. That's probably my lean in this game is White Sox plus 1.5. You could still get at a pretty good price. Pretty good price.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Billy the Kid's talking about that total was at 8.5 last night. That total makes a lot more sense looking at these two starting pitchers.
He's talking about the Red Sox game, which I agree with his sentiment there. We can talk about that game in a second.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that one? We got Woo on the bump. We got Crochet on the bump. Today we've got a total sitting at 8, maybe a couple 8.5 still hanging around. Crochet has been nails overall so far this season. What a great addition. He's been a Red Sox rotation. Woo, on the other hand, has been pretty up and down, but we know he's a solid young arm. But on the roads away from Seattle, could he be prone to giving up some more runs tonight, Jovan? What are your thoughts? You've been the whisperer of the series so far. I want to see where your head's at in Seattle, Boston.
I thought it was also very crazy. Not even just where it opened at 8.5, but that it's still sitting at 8. Obviously, we saw super high totals like before because we had much shittier pitchers on the mound, especially yesterday. It was essentially a bullpen game or shorter arms on each side. Everybody's on Crochet today like they are every single start, but it's because they just think the Mariners' offense is just as bad on the road as it is at home, which Crochet, sure, he can strike out almost whoever he wants in the Mariners lineup, but I think that's going to come with some damage too. So I don't think Crochet is going to have a spotless outing, even if he comes out and he gets double-digit strikeouts. Same goes for Woo, who is really good against righties, not good against lefties. That's been the story for his entire career. It's been magnified so far this time. So maybe it's Tristan Casas who stays hot after cashing the squad right last night. Maybe it's Devers. Maybe it's Duran. Maybe it's a bunch of those guys. So I think this total being at 8 feels incredibly telling, in my opinion. I surely would have expected at the very least a 7.5. I know it's in Fenway where we see higher totals, but it's not like there's weather involved that really helps it any bit. And I think both people or everybody sees both pitchers on the mound here and thinks they dominate either side.
Yeah. Looking at both pitchers' squares, I mean, their fantasy scores are both pretty high, in a game involving two squads that have been scoring plenty of runs. First couple games of the series. Now, Woo is coming off of giving up 4 and 3 runs in 2 of his last 3 outings. So he's had 2, not his best starts in his last 3 outings. So has not looked as sharp. He's also got a 17.5 pitching out square. Looks like the easiest, freest more than of all time. Now it is a goblin, but that's interesting. You have no option to even take the less than on his pitching outs, which always makes me feel good about an early pull. But his fantasy score is relatively high. So I don't know. I'm not sprinting to the books to lock it in over, but I certainly agree with what you're saying, where I wouldn't have been shocked if this total was at 7.5. The fact that it's at 8 tells me that we might still get some more runs. They're not done scoring yet, even if you got 2 solid arms in the bump, even including Crochet, who's due for a start where he actually gives up more than 2 runs for the first time this season.
It could also be a little, White Sox regression. Anytime somebody faces an offense that bad, and when you have that good of a matchup or as good of a matchup as Crochet did for back-to-back starts, 1 home, 1 away, now you get to face somebody that's a little different. Obviously, similar strikeout matchup, but a hell of a lot more pop in the lineup. So he had 2 damn good starts, seeing the same team back-to-back, one of the worst offenses in the league. See how he fares today.
Yep. We got a Crochet walks question in the chat. Let me pull that square up.
Yeah.
1.5 walks. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've hit a single walks allowed square this whole season. I've been letting those just splooge off to the side. I would lean the less than, but I'm not going to lock that in.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. Money Habit says the Red Sox are going to win. Would Def use as a parlay piece? I do like that they're catching a bunch of steam, but at some point, Crochet is going to give up a couple runs. At some point. I mean, even the best starting pitchers in baseball have starts. They give up 3-4 runs. It's coming. Could it be in this hitter-friendly ballpark after Seattle just scored a bunch of runs? I wouldn't be shocked. Am I sprinting to the books to lock it in? No, I'm not. I'll probably let it splooge. But if I had to bet on this game, I'd probably take the nasty over and back runs to continue in this series. I'm not ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
I guess is my point.
I mean, realistically, he's looked human against any offense that's not the worst in the league because he's had three starts where he's given up a run or less. 2 of those were the White Sox, and 1 of those was the Orioles, who's one of the worst lefty offenses in
all of baseball. So not to say he isn't good, but it's a lot different when you're facing any lineup with the slightest bit of pop against lefties in it.
I'm with you. Roop has his worst outing today. Big Cheesy's saying we'll talk about him. We'll talk about that game here in a moment. For now, I'd rather talk about the Rockies and the Royals game 1. I'm pretty blown. I would have probably ran it back if it was Marquez versus Lorenzen. I would have taken some Lorenzen action, and I would have maybe taken a first 5 under in this game. But I'm going to probably sit this one out. The first 5 under now makes a little bit more sense with Reagan's involved. So Reagan's kind of stealing my thunder there. But I'll see how game 1 plays out. And maybe if we get some weird runs, a weird over in this first game, can go back to the game 2 under, game 2 first 5 under, and stay posted. I'm sure I'll post either in the Discord on Pickets or on X about if I lock in a play in game 2. But I'm staying off of game 1 here. Not super confident with now Reagan's involved. It just makes a little bit too much sense. It probably still hits, to be honest with you. It's still a great sign seeing that total at 8 with Herman Marquez involved for a first 5 under. But I will sit it out. I'm not as confident as I was yesterday. It just simply makes more sense now. But Jovan, do you have any leans in Rockies and Royals game 1? Royals are minus 275, so they're probably winning.
Yeah,
right?
Probably win. Yeah. And like I don't want to go anywhere near fading Marquez off of maybe the worst start we've seen in all of baseball this season. Granted, it was against the Dodgers, but gave up 7 in the first inning and didn't even finish the first inning. So I assume that's the early popular lay piece that's going to be everywhere today, especially with Reagan's now on the mound. So I don't want to go anywhere near that, but I don't think he pitches that well either. It's kind of weird too, because now he's in a spot where like usually he was this guy that eats innings for them and was just, I mean, in years past too, has been the guy that they can kind of rely on to maybe get hit around a little bit, stack hits against him and just manage the damage. And he's going to have to do that today. So like weirdly, not that the Royals offense is that good. I mean, it's one of the worst. I think it is the worst right now against righties. It's kind of those spots where Herman Marquez shows up when people least expect it. So I don't know, that first 5 under definitely makes a lot more sense now with Reagan's involved on the other side, but I wouldn't be shocked if it comes through again.
Dude, I would not be shocked either, but I think I'm going to wait out game 1, see if I can get a play going in game 2. It's just a little bit too square for me now with Reagan's involved. A little too square.
A little bit. I wish I would even be like super down to square up. Not that I love it. It's just the Royals offense just kills me right now. It's so bad, so painful to watch.
We got Fernando Escalera in the YouTube chat getting up and moving. Saying he loves Krabs. Sure. Saying he wants a 2-man Nukenheimer today. Well, you could take the 2 prize pick squares we're going to talk about in the Sharp report in a couple moments here if you want to lock in a 2-man, but it might be a little too nasty. We'll see when we get to those squares, though. Some rare Krabs glaze. Yes, Supreme Fatty. The plays must be hitting. They must be almost perfect.
Krabs glaze does not grow on trees. You love to see that.
The plays must be damn near perfect if that's the case. Sure. Sure. And they have been. Yeah. Cashed another 10 extra last night. Yeah. Appreciate that, T-Bone Steak. What's up, Joe? Good to see you, Goat. We got Pax Picks dropping some bits in the Twitch as well. W Pax Picks getting up and moving. He says, Krabs, I always thought your complaint with adults with gloves at the park was a funny bit, but I was at the Mets game recently with my younger cousin, and she was robbed by a grown-ass man with a glove. Never been more disgusted. So you're telling me, Pax Picks, you're at the game with a younger family member, a grown-up, a grown-ass man with a leather glove on their hands, reached over, grabbed a baseball in front of your little cousin in the vicinity of a child, and took the ball and walked away and did not give it to the kid. What the hell's wrong with people?
That's unbelievable.
Look, there's one thing, you make a play or your spidey senses kick in. Next thing you know, you get a ball in your hand or a ball in your glove. I get it, right? You're out there, you make a play. It's not too late to correct your mistakes, right? It's not too late to fix that situation, Jovan. But there's one way to get on a fast track to hell. And that's doing that, pulling that maneuver off, turning around 180 degrees and walk in the other direction with that ball. That is a lunatic move.
I feel like once you hit the age of like, I don't know, maybe high school, I feel like if there's a kid in the vicinity, even if you get the ball and it's right to you, you're handing it off most of the time.
I feel like that's
You got to at least do a respectful look around your section.
I feel like once you catch a ball, once I hit the age of like maybe 14, if I was getting the ball in the stands, I'm looking around me to see who's smaller than me is sitting there that might need a baseball. God forbid, just taking it.
And Nerfy Chad's asking the right questions, right? He's playing devil's advocate in the chat. Maybe he's got some kids of his own that he's starting to wonder, what do I do, right? When I start bringing them to the ballpark, do I bring a glove? Do I try to be a provider and grab them a ball with a glove in my hand? Do I try to do it old school and just grab it like with bare hands, right? Like a caveman. A lot of different options, probably a lot of different thoughts going through Nerfy Chad's head there. So I understand the questions. But it's as simple as this, right? He says, what if it's the first ever ball he's got? Well, if he's a grown-up 30, 40-year-old man and it's the first time he's ever caught a ball, that means, number one, he's either not locked. Number two, he's the most uncoordinated person ever. Number three, he hasn't gone to enough games. Number four, he doesn't love ball enough. And all four of those answers, to me, result in that gentleman not keeping that baseball. I can't find a reason to make it make sense. So I'll leave it at that. Saw someone in a section next to me yesterday with a glove on their hand. They were screaming when a pop-up got hit. The pop-up landed, I don't know, probably 5 sections over to the right of where this gentleman was with the glove, yapping, standing up, thinking the ball was coming near him. Wasn't even close. Might as well have been on the other side of the park.
Were you not sitting like close to behind home plate?
And he was screaming. Pretty close.
Like,
yeah.
If you're going to bring a glove, you better be decently deep. Like if you bring a glove and you're sitting anywhere infield and in. Yeah, infield and in, and you're bringing a glove, hang it up.
It's a joke. It's a joke. And no excuses, no reasons. I can't find a reason to. Catch with the bare hand. And then hand it off. Right? Hand it off like you're standing next to Ashton Ginty, who's getting drafted tonight. Okay? What if it's a historic ball, like someone's first homer or 300th homer or something like that? Okay, Moose.
Well, see, that's different because if it's like a milestone, then the people from the team are going to come and get you and get that ball anyway. So yeah, of course you don't hand it off. Yeah, you don't hand it off. If that's the case. You go and you get something for it. But any normal foul ball or anything without a milestone or player significance attached to it, like what are you doing?
Krabs, I have an idea. When I have kids and they're all grown up in their teens, you have a Bookit daycare, you teach them how to not be square. Yeah, that might have some legality issues there, young burner, but I love where your head's at. Might have to wait till they turn, 21 there, but there could be some sort of institution, maybe an online academy. Once they hit the legal age of 21 years old, sure they can. Love where your head's at there.
Didn't know I'd end up being a dean of Bookit University. That'll be fun.
You. Yeah, send the kids to Demon U. Send the kids to Demon U. Send them to Green God Tech.
Has there been any traction on Pope Goots? Any steam on that line? I can't get over that. It is still Goots week.
Well, I got to become a Cardinal first, so
you got some work to do, Goots.
Yeah.
Look,
and not even all the Cardinals are invited to the conclave. So
no, you got to know a guy. You got to know a Cardinal.
Yeah.
They don't just invite any Joe Schmo Cardinal out there. You got to know a guy.
They didn't like the Vatican to Baltimore idea, so we got to work on that.
That's going to be a tough sell, Goots. I'm not going to lie. If that's your first move as Cardinal, you're going to have a tough time selling that to the Pope.
It's going to be rough.
I'll go ahead and get out ahead of that one right now.
Yeah.
That one might take a couple meetings.
It might.
Don't expect to close that one on day one.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe build out some sort of 2-week process there because that one might take a while.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move. Let's groove. We got some squares to go over. We got some plays to go over. Let's move. Let's groove. I really want to get these plays to you guys. We talked about the early starts and enough talking about the chats. We got to get in some of these games here and talk about some of these winners. Okay, why don't we talk about some plays that we love on the books first, Jovan? I'll get it started out in a very, very good-looking series here. The Nats versus the O's. Let's not forget about it. It is still Goots week. You might be a little bit quiet with how the O's have performed the last couple of nights. It's still Goots week. Okay, I'm not done yet. We got O's and Nats in D.C. tonight. We got Mackenzie Gore back on the bump after another legacy performance, Jovan. It might just be his year. Right? Is it time, maybe we could sit down and have a convo, later on today or this week and have a talk about Mackenzie Gore, maybe it being his year? Because I'm starting to think it might just be. It might just be Mackenzie Gore's year. I mean, I have not seen a guy have strikeout stuff like this in a long time. Sure, he's given up a run or two, right, in every recent game. But today, I think that honestly could benefit us if we're trying to get a little sharp, get a little contrarian, and back him to go out there and throw an absolute gem. And what do we know about the O's? It only helps. They don't love facing lefties, do they, Jovan?
No, really bad.
No, they don't.
Really bad.
And unfortunately for my Nats, you can make the same argument for us facing lefties too. That's been our kryptonite. We can't sniff a baseball against a lefty. We've made Bailey Falter look like prime Chris Sale. Prime. Hall of Fame Chris Sale. We made him look like. We can't hit a lefty to save our life. And if you guys have taken a stroll down to Prize Picks today, which I'm sure all of you have, you've probably seen that Cade Povich square. I know Goots has. The 2.5 run square after giving up a 7-piece. And that last game, Jovan, debatably the worst square or the weirdest square on the board. It probably is the weirdest square on the board, at least in that category, after giving up 7 runs. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Against the Nats, who've won the first 2 games of this series? Looks like a very easy more than to click, right? After seeing James Wood nukes, Nate Lowe nukes with a turtleneck and all. Looks like some pretty easy more thans to click to me. Well, I think Mackenzie Gore might go out there and shove, and I think Cade Povich might go out there and give up less than 2.5 earned runs. And if those 2 things happen, we're not getting anywhere near this 4.5 total for the first 5. Keep the bullpens out of it, although you can make an argument the Orioles bullpen's good enough to back them. The Nats bullpen certainly is not, although they have been the last couple of nights, which scares me. And I'd love to come up here and say, you know what, Jovan, it's a Nats ML. And I still think it is. I still think it is. You know why? Because the Orioles look sharp once again. Plus 100 with Cade Povich coming off that start against Mackenzie Gore coming off of 13 strikeouts. Orioles look like the sharp play. So that means the Nats are winning. But I can't do it with how good our bullpen's been the last 2 nights. I know there's darker days ahead, so I'll isolate the first 5 and just back both starting pitchers to go out there and shove, and both offenses to struggle against lefties like they've done all early this season. They do it again tonight. No runs, no fun. First 5 under. Please, no nukes.
No nukes. Can't have those.
Please, no
Krabs.
nukes.
Simply can't have them.
Please, no nukes. Amaj said he thinks I'm overthinking it. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
If you think he's overthinking it, the other side of the bet is available for you to take.
It is.
People forget that.
Good night,
sometimes.
Bolts. Good night, Bolts, that girl says. We'll circle back to the Bolts. I want to see what Jovan's cooking up over there. Let's see what the first straight bet is.
Got a first 5 under for you too, Krabs.
Wow. Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome to the show, which usually I would not even think for a singular second for taking the bullpens out of this game, because the Rays bullpen has been, I guess, not quite Rays level so far this season, but they've started to get it back together. They're obviously a bullpen you still respect. They're still putting up great numbers. D-backs has been relatively elite all season, but they're coming off of that 11-inning game last night where there was heavy usage from both sides, so I really don't want to get them involved today. I do think this is the Corbin Burns start where he starts to look more like Corbin Burns, especially because he's been pitching a lot more to contact, which it's not something you necessarily want to do against the Rays right now because they've been a little pesky, especially with the new guys they have in the lineup, whether it's Chandler Simpson, whether it's Mangum, whether it's Misner. They're all more contact guys, but when you pitch the cutter to them, I've noticed, especially the bottom 2 guys, because Simpson, you don't have that much of a sample size yet, but a lot of the guys like to kind of take the pitch with them, which means they've been rolling over a shit ton when you have stuff going away from a lot of the righties, and then the lefties in have been grounding, rolling over, getting jammed by a lot of the same type of stuff. So I think Corbin Burns is in for another relatively solid start tonight. And then Drew Rasmussen, I've been riding with my guy the entirety of the season so far. He's been lights out, 0.87 ERA. Toughest matchup, I guess you can say he has had on paper by decent margin, because I think this is one of the best offenses they've faced so far. But he pitches kind of to use offensive aggressiveness against them, which the D-backs are a very aggressive team. They're also patient, like they're the best of 2 worlds. You got a lot of lefties in there, but for a guy like Drew Rasmussen, I think the approach kind of stays relatively the same. He's weirdly like not as good against these teams that are so strikeout heavy because he throws a lot in the zone. He's kind of better using his command against teams that are going to put the ball in play, so you can kind of place it where you want it to be. So I think it's a pretty good game from both these starting pitchers. Even if you get like a little Rasmussen regression in the toughest matchup he's had so far, I don't think that's enough, because I think Corbin Burns is going to pitch pretty solid.
Yeah. No, I could not agree more. That could be a sneaky, isolated first five under here, targeted first five under, um, involving your Rays and the D backs once again. You've had your eyes on this series since it began 2 nights ago. Why
Yeah.
not go back to it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Knicks on the ML. You are backing Mikey Over squad tonight. Love to see
Yeah.
it.
And frankly, like this is coming from someone who thinks the Pistons might win that series. And
Wow.
not a hot take. I don't think I'm alone in that. I think it's one of the trendier dogs, I guess, to win the series in the NBA. But I was just staring at this game, even like last night. I think we were talking about it in the court for a little bit. But uh, Mike Overs even came on and said he was scared. I think it was 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, of going into Detroit after the way things looked in game two, where I guess throughout the first two games, Tibbs actually had a rotation, which is great, but doesn't seem like it's working out, especially in game two, where I don't know, they just looked like they got out physical by the Pistons, which that's the Pistons brand of ball. So like this Knicks team looked a little vulnerable. I think the most vulnerable they've looked. So I think now people are starting to get really worried about the outlook of this series. I'm looking at this game and I want every single reason to take the Pistons, and I think a lot of people do. And again, that's coming from somebody who thinks the Pistons might win the series tonight. I think screams, absolutely reeks of a bounce back. Obviously, down the stretch, like the Knicks had a lot of shooting issues. It was the Mikal Bridges game. Nobody else really showed up. Josh Hart was like weirdly a liability in a lot of these games, and I can only assume after getting dominated on the boards for part of that game, you're probably going to go with a little bigger of a lineup if you're Tibbs. So I think you're going to force the Pistons to shoot themselves out of the game a little bit. So I think the Cade Cunningham hero ball is going to be deferred a little bit to some of the secondary options. And it's not to say they don't have the shooters. Like Tim Hardaway can get hot. Malik Beasley can obviously get hot. But I don't know if that's coming in this game, to be honest with you. This feels like a game where the Pistons have everything in front of them. Crazy momentum, crazy environment. Of course, you're going to have in Detroit, bringing the Knicks in there. First, like, legit playoff series in a fat bit. I don't know if they're getting this win tonight, Krabs. I really think it's the Knicks.
-1.5 on the road now, up from -1. I don't disagree. I think if there's one spot to back the Knicks, could be this one, coming off that loss. And I do like seeing them as a favorite on the road after everybody's probably going to be hopping on the Detroit bandwagon. Like you were saying, thinking they now have a chance after evening up the series. Could be when you hop off that bandwagon, jump on the Knicks for one game, and then hop back off and go back on the Pistons. The next game,
After this game, I'll be fully in Pistons mode for sure.
All right. I like to play a lot, Jovan. We'll swing it around. We'll be back for that last one. W, the Curfew Life, coming in, resubbing as well 4 minutes ago. You are him. W, the Curfew Life. Appreciate you, Goat. What is Pickett saying about that game? We will pull up those Pickett splits. Don't you worry. W Packs picks. After we power through this Sharp Report recap, we'll get right to the Pickett Pro slate. Okay, for now, let's talk about the Lightning. I'll take you guys to the ice here real quick. Back at Jovan squads against the defending Stanley Cup champs and the Florida Panthers, who took the first game of the series. Tampa looked sharp first game of the series. They did not come through. Now everybody wants to hop off of Tampa, which I agree. You should want to after they don't come through in a sharp spot in game one. But I'm going to be the one guy left standing here, the one guy who's hanging around. He cannot get off the Lightning bandwagon here in this spot because they're once again looking really sharp and looking really funny at me. -125, catching 10 cents of steam, Jovan, after they lost the last game. That's pretty fucking crazy. Got a weird feeling in my gut. We see the Panthers, the reigning Stanley Cup champs, drop their first game of this series tonight. And there's a couple other games I like on the ice as well. So we will take a trip over there. Don't you worry, guys. We will before BTL's over. Okay, we got plenty to discuss on the ice. But my favorite play right now is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Cannot get over them. Catching steam at home. They got some work to do after dropping that first game of the series against the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm still with you. That game was, for as much as they got dominated, I guess you would see by the final 6-2 scoreline. I mean, they were the better team for the majority of that game. It was like a constant cycle. Plus, I mean, there were some injuries involved mid-game that really hurt them. And some of those guys, especially like Cirelli, might not play tonight, which definitely hurts. But, I mean, Vasi gave up 6 goals on 16 SOGs, which a couple of them, the first, I think, 3 or 4 were all off of like really bad turnovers that just kind of left them out to dry. I don't think that's going to happen again. I still feel pretty confident about the Bolts' outlook in this series, period. And that would obviously start with tonight. don't want to go down 0-2 going down to Sunrise.
They can't. They can't afford it. They go
Can't
down
afford
0-2.
it.
They're chalked.
Can't afford it.
Chalked. Must-win game tonight. Must-win game. Get it done. All right, swinging around from you, Gutsy, will you? We got one more straight bet here for Jovan. Do we need to address?
Go to
Stay on the ice.
In the Leafs game, which I think this game was one of the odd ones. There was a lot of over talk, I guess, in game 2 after the way game 1 went, because the Leafs offense dominated the Sens. And the Sens defensively in game 1 looked absolutely lost. They had no answer for anything. They were sloppy in their own zone. They had a couple really bad turnovers, just like the Lightning did, and they put themselves in a really bad spot. Leafs dominated the PP2. They were just, anytime they got on the PP, they just ran straight to goal, and it was an instant answer because there was just no organization there from the Sens. I don't want to rule that out tonight because the Sens are going to be playing themselves in desperation hockey. Obviously, down 0-2, coming back home, got to get a win. The spot speaks for itself. You're not going to do that defensively against this Leafs team. If you're the Sens, you're not going to beat them at their own game, play a tight style of hockey. You're going to have to open it up, especially with the top line. The top line, which there's 2 teams that I think the top line really has to step up today the most, and you're going to see something. And the Tkachuk line for the Sens has been damn good the entirety of the series so far. Haven't produced a goal, though. They've been dominating them 5v5 every single time they touch the ice. I think tonight's finally the time you get them to produce some goals. You're going to have to be super aggressive with that line because that is the line that's been giving you the most puck possession, giving you the most high danger chances in the zone. So I think they pull through today. I think the Sens offense wakes up and scores some goals tonight. But I really just don't have any faith in the Sens defense after what we've seen the last couple of games, especially game 1. Game 2, they kind of picked it up for a majority of it, but special teams is just killing them. So I feel like that's going to be the big time equalizer. I think you're going to overextend everything your defense has. You're going to come out, be aggressive because you have to, because you're down 0-2, coming at home, big emotional spot. I think the offense wakes up, but I think with that probably comes some goals on the other side. Screams like a back and forth game where maybe they open it up early, the Leafs claw back, and it's another game that maybe gets decided in OT with a little higher of a score line, like a 4-3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm scared at this point with playoff overs, but I might have one more in me. I could be convinced.
Yeah. The deeper you get, I guess, there's 2 different kind of series. There's one where you open it up early and you're going to see the highest scoring games early, and then ones like this series where I think you had your blip of like an under game in game 2, but now that the Sens, the worst defensive team, is in a big time desperation spot, you're probably going to see them start to flow.
All right. Thought that last night in that Caps game, they didn't flow enough, but Caps still got it done.
Yeah.
See if we can get some more goals in this series. So that series might just be a little different.
Yeah.
Right.
And
we got some
Larry
injuries
Bird,
as well for the Caps.
It's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think the way the Sens win is a 2-1, 3-1 game. The Sens are not winning a 2-1, 3-2 game. But I think their only way is to pick up the offense. But I really don't think they win the game, to be honest with you.
I can't believe he went that over the ML for Ottawa, man.
I don't have any faith that they win the game, Krabs. I really don't.
Wow. I mean, look, there's a lot of sharp-looking plays on the ice tonight. They're not all going to hit. Maybe they will, but they probably won't. So maybe this is a W pivot here. Back in goals. Instead of the Sens at -130. We'll circle back and talk about the other plays on the ice as well. A couple other games going on tonight. We got 4 games on the ice. Loaded slate. We're blessed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. I got one more straight bet. Yep. The A's +1.5 late night. A's +1.5 late night. Take me home piece back in Ginn. Ginn has not been good. I'll be honest. I'll get right ahead of this one. Ginn has not been a good starting pitcher, but tonight he will be against the former Rangers, the former World Series champs 2 years ago. And I know they're not the same squads. Although they're starting to show that they are a competitive squad, although they didn't last night. 2 nights ago they did. Jovan, people are going to be saying, though, no shot. We see the Rangers drop 2 in a row to the Athletics in this series. They're simply too good, and they have DeGrom on the bump. And Jovan, I hope about that second part that they're correct, okay, for you and for the Goat Whale that I also, absolutely nuked and I'm tailing and sweating out with you. And I love the take. Tonight I'm a little bit concerned. with DeGrom pitching in, Coors 2.0. Obviously, that has resulted in some more bullshit. We've even seen the ace Patty C get hit up a little bit more than he typically has been this season in that park, right? All jokes aside, runs are a lot easier to come by in this park. It's just simple math. It's science. Okay, check the fucking data at this point. It is. So that concerns me a little bit with DeGrom. Maybe some of these pop-ups that have been getting to the warning track last couple starts might end up finding their way over the fence. Ginn, though, on the other hand, with all that being said, with the concerns about DeGrom, some of Ginn's props and some of his squares they have up on Prize Picks, especially as well, Jovan, looks so weird. Like Ginn's going to have the start of his goddamn career. It might be start of his life at any level, to be honest with you, looking at some of these squares. You got a super juicy under-earned run square. On Prize Picks, you got a 2.5 earned run square up there that looks like the easiest, best looking more than you could possibly select on the fucking app. But the under super, super juicy on the book. So juicy that I was even surprised to see it myself. When I gave it a peep, I thought it'd be reversed. Minus 130 to the under 2.5 earned runs allowed for Ginn. Either he's getting yanked super weirdly early, and if that's the case, that's going to help us on that less than for that square. We'll talk about that in a moment. Or he's going to have the start of his goddamn life. I'm starting to think it might be the latter. And I'm backing Ginn, and I'm backing the A's bats. No way they win 2 in a row against the Rangers, right? I think they might. Looking at these odds as well, creeping 20 cents towards Ginn with fucking Jacob deGrom on the bump. Are you kidding me? Maybe I'm walking into the biggest sharp trap of the night, Jovan. There's definitely a chance. This one is very easy to sniff out. There's a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to pay to play and find out because I cannot resist the A's plus 1.5. If I thought this would be more of a high-scoring affair, like the first game of this series, I'd be on the ML at plus money. But since I think there's a chance this low-key could be a Ginn versus deGrom, maybe pitcher's duel at some point in this game, I'll take the plus 1.5. I'll lay the minus 125. I don't give a shit. There's a chance this game goes under, just like last night.
Yeah, definitely is a chance. I'll be hoping it does, for the very least.
GT minus 175 to the Bears now. Are you kidding me? That's about as done deal as it could be. It's happening. Joshy should be splooging. Look, you can make an argument for good and bad things for taking GT, but overall, you're adding a great talent to your backfield. I think that only helps your squads. Could you make an argument that maybe that team needs some things more? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh, yeah. But do they have a new coach in town who might be trying to... Do they have a new coach in town who might be trying to build this squad kind of similarly to the offense that was built on his former team that had 2 stud running backs and a bunch of, running back depth? And that certainly took a lot of pressure off their QB, who at times, struggled. Yeah. It certainly reminds me of that a little bit. And I would not be shocked to see that come to fruition, to be honest with you. And looking at it, minus 200 now, it probably is going to happen, right? We know that late steam, the day of the drafts matters. And we've seen the day of the drafts, the odds get taken down earlier and earlier every fucking year. Wouldn't be shocked if the odds get taken off the board relatively soon compared to where we're at right now, because some of this info is starting to come out, starting to leak a little bit. You're starting to see guys like Ashton GT almost minus 200 to go to a team that was plus 300 12 hours ago. That's crazy. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Jovan, we still got squares to go over here. Get a little bit ahead of myself. Why don't we talk about them? Let's talk about some squares here real quick. I want to hear why you like Mr. Mark Stone on the ice besides the Reddit out charts.
So I was looking for something in this game. I mentioned 2 of the top lines that are playing today that have not done shit. The first one is the Kachuk line for the Sens, where they've actually been really good, just hasn't resulted in a goal. The top line for Vegas produced 1 SOG in that game, which I thought it was kind of something that was assumed that they weren't going to match top line versus top line because defensively they wanted like a little better of a stopper against the Wild's top line. But after, frankly, that didn't work, I figure we get matchups switched up a little bit today. I looked through this line and the squares that were up, which mainly, like, it's not really talking about Howden as much, but Mark Stone's got a Reddit out point square. Jack Eichel's got an extremely red 2.5 SOGs after, again, 1 between the 2 of them was the result of last game. I think they're going to be a lot more aggressive offensively, not just because they didn't do anything, but I feel like that's the best case for this matchup. The Wild came out and blitzed the fuck out of them early to the point where we took Wild team total over 2.5. We were sweating that on stream, and Trent was quite literally bitching because of how quickly it hit because he wanted to sweat out something for the entirety of the game. This, you're going to have to come out this game super aggressive, and If it's going to come from anybody, I think it has to come from that top line because you're going to have to match something, especially if you don't have anything defensively against the Wild top line. So I'm staring at these squares, and obviously I think the squares combined for that to line are telling a story tonight that this line is going to put something together a lot better than they did in the first game. So like Mark Stone, I think is going to have to be at the center of that. Obviously you can do it on the power play as well, but I think this is a 5-3-5 type square right here. Then probably the grosser one of the two. Texted Rav this morning because had to get some lick back after the first game. He got me to taking it. Absolute bagel. I think that was during Spaces. Absolutely awful. Game 2, another bagel. Krabs. Horrendous player. Horrendous, I guess, minute rotations.
Talk about these bagels.
Yeah, and Chris Dunn is getting a lot of like the Bogdan minutes. The reason why I think that almost has to flip tonight, despite how bad Bogdan's been in this series, because you see what Kawhi did. I think we all did in game 2.
Yeah. The claw.
Dominated. Vintage claw, dominating one-on-one. Frankly, just because Kawhi was just fantastic. I don't want to take away from that. But if you are seeing him right now and developing a game plan for him, right, like how are you letting him continue to go one-on-one? I was shocked it even went on for as long as the game went on and for long as his run went on in game 2. If you're defending him in this game, what do you think they're going to do, Krabs?
Well, if my brain was turned on, I'd probably guess that maybe the claw gets maybe double covered a time or two in this game. Maybe they close out on him a little more than they were the other nights when he was vintage. And maybe that leaves Bodan butt naked, wide ass open on the 3-point arc, banging 2 at a demon price.
Exactly. Especially because like Chris Dunn, not that he's an incapable shooter, but Bogdan is the guy I would much rather have, but he's a big time home road splits guy too, by the way. Like that's one of the bigger things. Like not only has he done that for the entirety of the season, but when he's with the Clippers, especially, the splits have been pretty drastic. So like he's 32% on the road, 59% at home. He's been so far with the Clippers. So now that you're coming back home, I think he has a role in this game. And I was just going to take his normal points, which like the line on the book is 5.5. I don't think that's coming without 2 threes. So taking the demon, 1.5 threes. He's hitting 2.
Yeah, I had to check my vision. I had to rub the crusties out of my eyeballs a little extra hard this morning, making sure that was the right square. Bodan, 1.5 threes. Demon price, chat.
Yeah, they don't have his normal points, even though it's not like super juiced or anything. I don't know why it's not a normal square, but that's okay. It's not a normal square. I didn't really want to take anything RA involved with Bogdan. So he's hitting 2 threes. We can start there.
I agree. Love the play. This could be at a goblin price. I wouldn't give a hoot. I'd lock it in. Just knowing how he's played this series. And I know Rab is in chat right now with just the biggest of smirks. Just the most one-sided of his face smile of all time. Not a full smile, just an evil, devious smile. Because he knows what he's better do to the Prize Picks board tonight. He's better nuke this square. Oh, yeah. He's locking this puppy in.
Texted him this morning. He couldn't believe what he was hearing.
Yep. Could be the difference today, Rav. Yep. Could be. Bodan. One of my favorite players in the NBA just based off of the name. He's got the same name twice. Nobody talks about it enough. Bodan. Nobody cares. I'm the only person who thinks it's cool or funny. I don't know why. Bodan. Tonight he's coming through. Guy's got a complete last 5 chart of Shugs Bagels. Last 4 at least. Dude's been stinking it up in this postseason. He's been jacking shots. He's been getting technical fouls. He's been getting benched. Tonight he splooges and plays well for the first time in this series. I'm in.
Need it. Somebody's going to have to make some perimeter shots because Kawhi ain't going to have it as easy in this game.
Well, B. Joe Higgy, I was a big Federico guy until he went to Charlottesville. Rumor has it he's going to UVA.
Did he really? Did I miss that?
I need someone to check the Carfax on that because I either got by some sort of VT troll account making the funniest joke ever, or Federico Squared is actually going to Charlottesville.
Wow. I have incredible breaking news, Krabs. Not related to Federico, but related to Bogdan. You know what else they just put up?
What?
The double, which has been the kiss, not of death, but I guess the kiss of green so far in the playoffs.
Kiss of glory.
Yeah, the double attempt squares. He has the 3-point attempts up there, and his field goal attempts are up there. Obviously, he's got to make them, which has been the big challenge, I guess, but I feel pretty confident the shot volume is going to be there. He's not going to get ran off the floor as much tonight.
Dead Larry Bird, you better take a trip to fucking Blacksburg too, bro. If you're taking a trip to Charlottesville, you better take a trip to Blacksburg. Make sure your kids aren't blue collar before you send them to Charlottesville.
People don't take trips to Blacksburg, crap.
They should. They used to back in the day. Back in 2001, they were taking trips to Blacksburg.
Yeah, Steph
You ever heard of
Curry.
Michael Vick dudes? Was that before your time?
No,
You ever heard of Michael Vick? He's pretty good.
I've
Might
heard
have
of
to
him.
take a trip. Might have to take a trip to Blacksburg this year.
I've also heard of the guy who plays in Baltimore who's breaking all of his records, but
Oh man. Hey, any movement on moving the Pope to Baltimore?
no, we're
No
talking
movement
right
yet?
now. I'll let you know when I
Still,
get any
still in
info.
early discussions?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let me
to
know.
the
Goods.
move. I heard rumors that they're going to move the Pope to Baltimore once Lamar wins a big time playoff game.
That
So
could
Pope
be a
stayed
while,
in Italy.
folks. That could
I'm
be a
already,
while.
I'm already going through enough with the Orioles. Can we just
We might be on the next Pope, not even this upcoming one. We might be on the next Pope
might be.
by the time that comes around. All right. Back when you had to go through Blacksburg with a horse and carriage. Sure you can, Richie Parlay. Probably wasn't too long ago, to be honest with you, in Blacksburg. All right. I don't know why, but Dave Martinez Burner wants to know what Jovan's go-to pub sub order is. He's about ahead there.
I have two. So whatever you're in the mood
Wow.
for, I either get, honestly, most slept on thing there, because everybody talks about chicken tender subs. They have some crazy Phillies there. Not Philly level, but Philly is one of my favorite. But if you do want to go the chicken route, chicken bacon ranch, chicken tender sub, absolutely elite.
Wow. I mean, yeah, you cannot go wrong. Sounds delightful. And we'll get a report. We'll get a review back here from Dave Martinez's burner after that sub tomorrow morning. Good. All right. Yeah, the pub subs are no joke, by the way. I've been lucky to try a couple in my times traveling down south on the East Coast. And yeah, they're solids. They're no joke. They're no joke. But yeah, Locksmith, come on. We know it's not a real Philly, but if he's bringing that up, it's got to be pretty solid.
Yeah,
it's got to be pretty solid. All right. I think DeGen is doing a Domino's review. Okay.
Domino's
better be thin crust
shit, dude.
Well, thin crust is not too bad, but I mean,
Dude,
if you're ordering,
I don't understand how people glaze Domino's, bro. I really don't.
I've never seen somebody glazing Domino's,
dude. Every time I feel like we have this pizza debate, or in any different circle, like Domino's gets way more glaze than it should.
Lock them up if people are going around saying compliments about Domino's. Jesus.
See, dude, like, look at the chat, dude. We're talking about all-time bad takes, talking about Domino's. Like, it's got to
be just hopping on the trend. There's no way they mean that. There's no way they mean that. Okay. We got JJJ Quack saying, I own a pizza shop. Domino's is rat meat. Wow.
It is, bro.
We're going to have to come check it out. Pega, what's up, Pega? Krabs, it'd be funny if we hit 2.4K subs on BTL. That would be pretty cool. That'd be a lot of subs away. We're only at 2343 right now. Still a shit ton of subs though. WDJ Lean coming in, dropping a resub 8 minutes ago. W Pega reminded me as well. Appreciate you, DJ Lean, coming in here, dropping a resub for 29 months. Wow. Along with the lovely Amy dropping a follow on Twitch. Guys, we're live on YouTube as well. Appreciate all you guys getting active in the chats, even if that means glazing Domino's, which you guys should be shot in GTA for that, but that is crazy.
Yeah.
I got something to complain about.
Let's hear it.
My favorite pizza shop up the street, Colony Grill, which is a New Hampshire staple or something. They only have one location in Virginia. I couldn't tell you why it's here. My favorite pizza shop. They got this delicious hot oil that's you can't find it anywhere else. It's a very different type of pizza. I don't know. Anybody up north might have had it before, but Colony Grill. I saw during a fucking MLB highlight on the MLB Network a couple weeks ago. Saw a Colony Grill logo at a Yankee Stadium during a Yankee Stadium highlight in right field. I do a couple Googles, Jovan. Turns out Colony Grill just partnered with the Yankees, and now they have a concession stand up there in Yankee Stadium, and I'm not allowed to fucking eat Colony Grill anymore because of who they support and the people they're promoting.
There's no way.
I can't do it.
There's no way.
So now I might need to start going to Domino's again because I can't go to fucking Colony Grill. They're partnering with the New York Yankees. Bunch of losers. Think I'm eating a loser pizza like that? You break. So if anybody's got any local pizza shops around the DMV, anything better than Domino's, you let me know. You let me know.
You should be eating pizza in Baltimore, brother.
Said nobody ever. That's the
I
first
think
time those
No,
words
said
have
a
ever
lot
been
of people.
back in a sentence.
Very
I
good
think
pizza
that's
there.
gotta be one of the top 5 places I would least like to eat pizza.
I mean,
is
you're
Baltimore.
really missing out.
What's your spot, Goots?
In Baltimore?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple, but like, there's Angelo's. It's very good. That's probably my favorite.
Don't tell me that's the same people that used to own the O's.
No,
Okay.
there's not.
Okay. All right.
No.
I do keep
If
the Old Bay
if it
can.
was, I would know and I wouldn't go. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You might want to check
what I
that.
told you earlier is that now fans are calling for him to come back. So, maybe he's
People
good.
forget that.
Who knows? Maybe he's good.
People forget that. Okay. Unbelievable. Would have never thought we'd get a Baltimore pizza stand on the stream today, but it is Goots Week.
It's really bad, dude. Really
It is
bad.
Goots Week.
There's
Okay?
a lot of just bad programs, bad cities out there. About 90% of them come from Baltimore. It's unbelievable.
No way they got a Judge-a-roni.
Do they actually have a Judge Roney?
Tiny Burke Evans very good as well. That's from Fed Hill.
Okay. Goots, we're not talking about Baltimore pizza anymore,
I'm just
Goots.
saying.
Okay? Appreciate that, though. Appreciate the shout. All right, let's put up some other prize pick squares on the boards, if you don't mind. We could talk about Baltimore pizza for days. Instead, we could talk about Baltimore Nerfies, which I don't know if that's much better to the public eye, but I mean, we're in the right spot here, Jovan. How about a Nerfie when we haven't seen one yet in this series? Okay, let me go ahead and set the scene for how the first couple games have gone in this series. Game 1, Nate Lowe drops sack on home plate, nuke in the first inning. Couldn't even get in the ballpark in time before he drops barrel and hits the ball 450 to right center. Just a great piece of hitting. Honestly, I got that fucking home run on replay in my brain. Great piece of the barrel. Nuke that puppy. Last night, James Wood, thanks for showing up. How about a nuke? How about a nuke right off the rip? Lead off. 2 Yerfies to start the series. And we've got debatably the worst pitcher involved tonight. And I'm not talking Trevor Williams last night. I'm talking Povich. Bless his heart, who we've already discussed and talked about and come to the conclusion that he's not going to pitch that darn bad today. Looking at that 2.5 run score up there on Prize Picks, Jovan, I think Povich might have a chance, honestly, to go out there and deal today. He is a lefty. It's about all it takes to deal against the Nats. It's our one kryptonite. We cannot hit lefties to save our life until we can keep fading the Nats bats against the lefties. Hence why we're taking that first 5 under. And hence why we're taking this Nerfy square, which, look, Jovan, I like to check some prices on the books while I'm looking at some of these options as well, doing my due diligence, doing my research, right? Checking the Carfax. I was surprised to see the odds for the Nerfy at minus 125 for this. After we've seen 2 Yerfies already, we've seen plenty of offense early on. But as a guy who loves the first 5 under in this game, I simply cannot resist the Nerfy on Prize Picks here. Jovan, it looks like a free Yerfie again with Povich involved. Or shit, maybe even Mackenzie Gore giving up a run or 2 in the first. He's done that before in his career. He struggled on the first inning a lot. Not this season as much, but he's also given up a couple runs in each of his last starts as well. He has not been as clean in that stat sheet in recent outings. So I think this is a nasty-looking Nerfy. I want to get involved. And I think we get a clean inning from both the young lefties on the bump for Baltimore and DC tonight. Povich and Gore go out there and get 3 outs each. And then the run starts splurging.
There we go.
All right. And then JT Ginn, shit wager from Prime Bets. I do want to say, Prime, good win last night on the ice. Was not expecting that one. That cost me some serious coins. Good win last night on the ice for the Stars. Man, that was hard-earned, hard-fought, and I was not expecting that puppy. Shit.
Yeah,
Prime, you better be on a different type of energy today, bro. You better be feeling good after that shit. But you're coming back down to earth tonight, Prime, when JT Ginn goes out there and has the start of his life against your Rangers. JT Ginn, less than 2.5 earned runs allowed. Already sold this when I was talking about the Athletics plus 1.5 in a low-scoring affair. I think the Athletics keep it close. I think they honestly went outright. I think JT Ginn goes out there and fucking shoves Jovan All his props are indicating he has his best start of the season. I'm locking in his less than 2.5 earned runs allowed against the Rangers bats at home.
There we go.
Okay. GG Red Sox, GG Crochet, Pax Picks is saying? No way.
He
All right.
he winded up and put his plant foot down and like just didn't throw the pitch. It was weird,
Well,
but he still
I
pitched.
assume they're saying GG because he gave up a leadoff hit and now he's on second from the
Okay.
ball.
Ooh.
Well, I was talking about
could
he
be
looked like he got hurt, so
Oh.
he's fine.
Probably a little bit of both.
He's fine now.
Probably a little bit of both. Krabs, the wing place you like in Buffalo as a partnership with Judge personally, actually. Oh, you mean the wing place I used to like? Because I don't anymore after hearing that.
What wing place?
I don't even know. And I don't even want to name drop because I don't want to roast a fire wing spot up there in this joke. But curious to hear what he's talking about. Or maybe Peg is cracking a joke himself. Who knows? An immediate strikeout there from Crochet. Okay. Chat, I will drop the link to the Sharp Report 4-man in the chat. It ain't no 10Xer tonight. It's not Ma and Pa's 10X.
It's got some
I think
goose.
we've already beaten that level this week. Or last week. I forget when we hit one, but within the last week or so, we have hit a Sharp Report 4-man. I think we've hit 2 actually in the last week or so. Let's cash another one and let's level up here. Let's make it an 18Xer. That's what this puppy pays out. Get involved, chat. Don't just sit there. Okay, because when Bogdan Squared goes out there and bangs his second 3, you're going to wish you locked this puppy in. Okay? The link has been dropped. Sharp Report 4-man. 2 nasty less thans up there for me. And Jovan's got a couple nasty more thans as well that he's locking in. Could be the perfect storm.
Could be.
Okay? We talking the draft today. I would love to get some of Jovan's thoughts on the draft here. Now that we've gone over these Sharp Reports. I guess I'll ask you this, Jovan. What are your thoughts on your Bucks? You think any moves are coming? Who do you want? Who do you think they get? If you have any thoughts.
Yeah, they needed DB really, really bad. You could make an argument for like an edge rusher, which is fine. I just feel like the draft is deep enough to where they don't need that in the first round. But I mean, name your player. I think there's a lot of guys that could fit for them. Whoever happens to fall to them at 19, you have a lot of different options. In my heart, I feel like they're going to go a little deeper and reach for Harrison, the guy from Kentucky, just because he's a really good zone corner and that fits with Todd Bowles. But I'm really cool with anybody. I want Benjamin Morrison because I think he's the best corner. I really don't want Will Johnson because I think he's the most overrated out of the bunch. But I'm pretty fine with anybody as long as they address DB pretty early.
I think that's probably a pretty smart move. I think it's pretty similar to the concerns that my Mendez need to address as well. All right, so that's what you think the Bucks needs. Is that who you think they end up picking? Is that the type of position group you think they end up going with, or is that just what you want them to pick?
I think it's both. I think it depends on who falls because like if you get I guess a D end or edge guy that kind of falls to you that you can't pass up on, I'm sure they'll take the opportunity to do so because that's an area of need too. But after all the injuries, after all of that was the weak point of the team by a wide margin last year. So I would be surprised if that's not addressed.
Yeah, and Wemby's out for the season as well, Big Cheesy. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, Big Cheesy? That's a joke that I wish I never started. It might never go away. Once a fucking quarter, I'm reading one of those chats. Unbelievable. All right, Jovan. That is who you think they get, and that's who you think they should get. And I kind of agree, although you know your Bucks better than me. Yeah, and I would not mind them going out and getting a receiver as well. I know you got a couple really good ones, but they're aging. Would not mind adding another young weapon to that core that loves airing the ball out as well and leaning into your strengths. I don't think that's a first round selection.
Yeah, I can be a little late. We just got a guy from like the young talent perspective and Jalen McMillan last year.
McMillan, sure.
Got McMillan, still got Mike, still got Godwin, even though he's coming back from an injury. It's not an immediate
Team like the Bucks, though, you could never have too many weapons.
Yeah, it's just with how lopsided the team was last year. You got to go some defense pretty early.
Okay.
It's just,
yeah.
I mean, nobody could stop the offense last year for the most part. It was just the defense was damn near 8 traffic cones.
Yeah. And you think Todd Bowles, a defensive-minded coach, would want to address that in this draft. And I agree. I would not mind seeing them add a receiver as well, although it seems like they're stacked and full in that position room. I feel like that would only benefit and help out the best aspect of their game. It would only make them scarier to play against, I guess, is how I'll put it.
I don't know where he's even mocked to, but just imagine like a later round Nick Nash. It's the Mike Evans on the other side. While you have McMillan and Godwin in both the slots, you just go 4 wide every single time.
Or Jack Beck in the second round or some shit.
Oh my God, that's splooge.
He doesn't fall to the late second. Probably he's probably going early second.
Dude, if we get Betch or Savion, I'm dripping Krabs, legit dripping.
Ty Felton maybe, who by the way is just screaming up these fucking wide receiver leaderboards or draft boards, whatever you want to call them. Ty Felton, as he should be.
Yeah,
has not gotten enough eyeballs on him in his college career, but that guy can catch a fucking football. My goodness. You add a guy like him, in the second round to the Bucks. Jesus Christ, man. How do you slow down all those guys? Scare the living heck out of me. All right.
Who
do I think what'd you say?
So what about your Mandos? Who are they going
Yeah,
after?
what about the Mandos? I mean, I have zero idea. I've heard something different from every beat reporter. There's a couple position groups that we need. Obviously, secondary, corner, safety is probably what makes the most sense. And if I had a gun to my head in GTA, I would be saying we're taking somebody in the secondary is what I'd say. But I honestly don't know. And by the way, I fully trust for the first time really ever as a fan of this football program. I trust whatever they end up going with. Would not be surprised to see Adam Peters go with best available player and not just best fit or not just, best position of needs. I would not be shocked to see him go out there and just get the best available talent. And knowing him and how his brain works, it might not be the guy that's on most people's top of their big boards or most people's highest ranked players. I would not be surprised to see us maybe reach and get a guy who you'd expect to maybe go in the second rounds, knowing how Adam Peters operates and how the Commanders have been operating the last couple of years. They might reach a little bit for a guy they have a little bit higher on their big boards. And maybe that's a wide receiver. That's been thrown around a lot too. I know we brought in Debo. Does not mean that we're done yet in that receiving room. And I don't think McCaffrey did enough.
Krabs,
to solidify that he's a future stud.
I was just thinking to myself because I was wondering, like, I don't know how many teams are really willing to reach at the end of the first round for a guy like this, but with how versatile he is, imagine. I guess the Commanders could in theory fit the bill, even though they just drafted one that may or may not work out. What if they just completely reached on Harold Fannin?
I mean, I would go bonkers. I would go nuts if we got the Bowling Green tight end. I would be shocked a little bit too.
I would be shocked.
I know they like Sanat.
I feel like whoever. Yeah, I don't know if they like Sanat. I feel like if they like Sanat, you would have seen a lot more of him last year. I know Ertz was the veteran guy, Cliff's guy that they signed, but I still feel like he would have been seeing a little more time if they felt super strongly about him. But I feel like whoever
can't block.
Whoever gets Fannin is going to be like a shock that they go in all in on him. And the Commanders could fit. Also helps that, he's not like a true sole tight end. He's basically a big-ass slot wide receiver at this point.
Yep. He's also really good.
Damn good.
That'd be crazy.
I would love if he was a puck. Kate Otten is horrendous at his job.
A name I'm hearing a decent amount. I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I'd be pissed. I don't think I'd want this, though, first. A name I've been hearing a lot, a guy we've been talking to a decent chunk, is Trey Harris from Ole Miss.
So see that.
Could add another fucking deep threat to the receiving core.
Yeah.
In Trey Harris. That's a guy we've been talking to, meeting with, plenty of Zoom calls. That kid started his career, I believe, at either ULL or Louisiana Tech. I forget, but very blue-collar college career arc, and this kid's a stud. He proved that last year. Trey Harris. Dude is fast. I don't know if speed is the best part of his game, but fast enough, and he makes some seriously contested catches. He's a darn good receiver. I don't know if I'm in love with that selection, but I've heard that a lot. Great
Surprised we
hairs.
haven't heard. I'm really impressed that we've gotten this far without Toot and Sorpage. I would like to clap it up for you on that one, Krabs. Not a mention yet.
Yeah. I'm really trying to be good. I'm shocked to see him as high as he is on all these RB big boards. I guess I get it. It's a stacked running backs year, right? There are so many good running backs in this draft. So a guy like Tootin on a team that wasn't very good and not in the spotlight a ton can get lost in the shuffle a little bit. I get it, right? It's not like he's Cam Scatterbo played in the fucking college football playoffs, or Judkins or Henderson, played on Ohio State. And another reason why I have not brought up Tootin is because it would not be the most shocking thing ever to see the Mandos reach for an RB at the end of the first round either and get one of those Ohio State RBs. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Henderson or Judkins. I wouldn't be shocked. I know they want an RB. They're going to get one. Now, if it was me, if I was the GM, I'd rather wait and reach for one of these guys in the second, third, or fourth rounds because there's so much talent at RB. And RB is such a disposable position, in my opinion, where is it going to matter in 4 or 5 years? Probably not. The guy's legs are going to be goo at that point anyways. Let's see how much we can get out of these rookie RBs. I'm down for that, method, the B-Rob method, right? B-Rob's not winning a Super Bowl. Let's go out and get another one. But I wouldn't be shocked to see either Ohio State guy go at the end of the first rounds. And maybe that cashes that more than 2.5 running backs taken in the first round bet at Plus Chicken. The book it was posting about. Wouldn't be shocked.
That could be the difference.
Prochet just gave up a 2-run nuke.
No,
Wow.
Didn't do that, but he did give up 2.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, what game is Justin watching? Why are we just making stuff up in the chat?
2-run double. 2-run double. But yes, he's getting touched early.
Okay. I'm gonna give my my guess for who we're drafting, and then I want a Goots Spark Notes Ravens guess. But I need to find this guy's name. It's really, really long, and I cannot believe I don't remember off the top of my head. The South Carolina DB, safety, Nick Eamon-Worry. That's my guess. Is who the Commanders select tonight. The safety from South Carolina. Kid's a studs, position of need for sure. That's my guess. But again, never seen a draft where I had less of a fucking clue who we're taking. Yeah. Typically because we're taking first 3 picks. We have a pretty good idea, right? Not this year. A little different. I have no idea.
Here we go.
No clue. Goots, real quick, Spark Notes.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Receiver, O-line, D-end, secondary. Those are probably the biggest options.
If you get a quarterback, got a really bad one.
What'd you say?
They should get a quarterback.
I would be
Draft
surprised if we went to tackle, or O-line. I mean, I would rather go on the defensive end, but also a receiver could come up with Golden, or if Luther drops, possibly. But Ravens don't usually make like those type of picks. They usually have their guys going in. I think it might be Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M at the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's also right from Richie, best player on the board. But they're historically very good with finding value in the later rounds. So they probably have their guy they know it's going to be there round 1, and then they'll get sneaky in the next rounds.
Well, I'll tell you what. The Commanders don't pick after the Ravens very often.
No.
But I can tell you this. The couple times that the Ravens have had a pick before the Commanders, and it's probably been because of trades, not because of the records of the teams, right? We know that's also another way to acquire picks. The Ravens always end up taking our guy. The most recent one that comes in my brain, and this is, I only know this because I remember growing up just rooting against the Ravens, rooting for the Commanders because the Ravens were good, the Commanders were bad. I've talked about this. When the Ravens got my guy Kyle Hamilton from the Irish.
Not your guy, my guy.
God damn it, man. No, that was, according to Commander's Twitter, that was our guy. He was already in the maroon and yellow. And he was already, on his way to DC.
Thank
and
God
you guys picked him up and snagged him. Wouldn't it be something if you guys go out there tonight? You have a pick, a couple before us?
2. We're 27, you're 29.
Yeah, so whoever the hell I want, about 3 minutes before that pick is getting selected to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So, Goots, send me a text while we're on the stream tonight. Whoever the hell you want, I'll say it out loud, and then you'll go ahead and get him for the Ravens because he's getting picked. It'll probably be a wide receiver or somebody really cool. We got a Bregman bomb.
We do.
There's an actual home run in that game.
A lot of runs.
So is that over, Jovan?
Dude, what if we should have took that Yervy, man?
Yeah, you sniffed that one out. That was a great read.
That would have been hilarious.
All right. We only got about 5 minutes left. I want to end on time today. I've been bad with that. We're locking in today. And I want to remind you guys, we do have a little NFL draft stream going on tonight. If you want to get involved, you want to sweat out with the squads, the NFL draft tonight. I know it's still, a Thursday. Some of you guys might not be going out to the bars, right? If you want to chill with us during the draft while you're posted up watching it, get the iPads out, get the laptops out, pull up the Twitch or YouTube stream tonight with us. I'll get it fired up around 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, an hour before the draft. We'll get that puppy fired up, and we'll start crafting up, some takes, talking through some picks. They'll show Mel Kiper and his crazy hair a million times. We'll comment on it, and we'll see who our team select. We'll have one hell of a night. Okay? For now, we still got some work to do, gents. Why don't we craft up a little squad ride action? Goots, if you don't mind, run that train. I want to see that puppy. We're going to do a mini clap here because I don't want to get complacent. Can we clap it up real quick for the squad rides? 5 in a row. 5 in a row. Can we stay hot? Can we cash another one of these puppies tonight? Please, chat. 5 in a row. W Jovan, W chat, and I'll knock on wood to give us a chance. Jovan, I'm looking at the slate today, man. We got plenty of options. We got 0 excuses. It's as simple as that. It really is.
Not one.
Not one excuse. Plenty of games, plenty of bets that we're loving. I'm curious what you love the most out of your 3 plays.
I haven't pushed hawking the squad ride yet for the playoffs, just because kind of guessing first couple games. Game 1s, game 2s. We're in game 3 in Ottawa. I think that's my favorite play. Going with that over.
Wow. Did not expect it, but we're putting that puppy in there. How about over 5.5 in the Maple Leaves and Cents? I'm in. Sign me up. 2 words, chat. Sign me up. I'm in there. Man, we could just take the Nats ML and say screw it.
Could just say fuck Goots. That could be the squad ride.
It is Goots week though, so out of respect, maybe leave that puppy out. What do you think about that first 5 under?
I'm always in. Your nasty first 5 unders, knock on wood, have been printing.
Knock on James Woods. Yeah, all these first 5 totals have been smacking, but we haven't been putting respect on them.
Haven't.
It's probably my favorite play today. Orioles first 5 under 4.5. Can we put that puppy in there?
Yep.
All right. Anything else, Goots, that you heard us talk about today that you are absolutely obsessed with?
I mean, I don't mind the A's, but
yeah, that's what I would have said was probably my favorite play overall today, but it is also the action POD.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay off that too.
GG.
I
don't know. We've been hot with baseball, so wouldn't hate getting more of that involved, but there's not much left here on the board for that.
Yeah. Why don't we go 2 plays, 2 winners, quality over quantity? That's done us very well over the last 2 weeks. Let's go 2 plays, 2 winners, quality over quantity. Let's go with the Maple Leafs Senators over 5.5 on the ice. And let's go Orioles, Nats, first 5 under 4.5. 2 plays, 2 winners. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get involved. Get involved. Okay, while we get this poll up and moving, Goots, if there's any way you could be a superhero and show us the splits for the NBA games really quick. I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse, but I'd love to see the splits really quick on the Knicks game. I'd love to see the splits really quick on a couple of these NBA games for tonight on Pickett Pro. If that's something we could potentially show here while we get these votes in, chat, get those votes in. Hurry up, go, go, go. 2 plays, 2 winners, 2 totals. Get those votes in and hurry up. 2 plays, 2 winners. Love to see these splits really quick on Pickett Pro and see how we're doing. All right, some Knicks bets, some more than I expected. I still like the Knicks a ton, Jovan, but makes me feel better about not putting the foot down and putting them in this poll because I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Still think that's a winner, though, and I don't think it matters. But definitely a little bit more public than I thought after the Pistons went outright. Okay. And then real quick, if we could pull up the OKC Memphis splits too. I would like to see if Trent's going to be in urine tonight during the NFL or during the end of the NFL draft. Let's pull it up. Let's see how public they are. Whoa.
I mean, yeah. What do you expect, Krabs?
I don't know. And you're telling me Memphis isn't getting double digits? Oh, shit. I'm going to have to take a trip to Memphis for this one tonight. All right.
No, I kind of think at the very least, I think you get a better offensive performance from Memphis. I was kind of thinking about taking their TTO.
Can't get worse.
Can't get worse at all. They haven't cracked 100. I guess last game was a little better, than the first game. Can't really be much worse than game one, but I think at the very least you get that kind of like points.
And Jovan, would you look at that? We got the foot down. Jovan over on the ice. It's been a while. It was meant to be. Maple Leafs sends over 5.5 on the ice.
Let's go.
How about it? All right, W play. WBTL today. All right, W stream. Do me a favor, guys. Stick around. We got the Surge stream starting up right after this. Stick around, pitch Trent a winner. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be. We'll catch you tonight as well during the draft.